debrief for the baseline video number one. It was with relation to standard one.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you know, Jesse's been working very hard, so congratulations on getting her first video completed. Yeah. So let's talk about the lesson. Maybe you can talk about some things that you thought went really well, and maybe some things that you would like to work on.
Sure. Okay. Because it was the first lesson that was so closely um, tied to a lesson plan, I realized on reflection that there was like one standard or one objective that I didn't meet, and I think it was because of like time, where they had to fill in some rhyming words, um, or familiar, like fill in the missing
Missing
words
words.
while we're singing the songs. Um, I know that we sang the song, but I didn't offer them the opportunity to put in the missing words. So that's something that I must pay close attention to. What I liked about the class is that I like that it flowed really well, and all the kids had a place to go, and they were clearly able to accomplish what their expectations were. And that the centers were within things that they have already tackled and things that we were working on. The center that I ran was the name reveal, and what I realized there is that working with the paint, the watercolors, and because they're so young, the step of watercolor, water, they were getting lost in that. So I felt like a lot of some time went away in like explaining that as opposed to the objective of that station, which
Okay.
is looking for your name.
Right.
And in future, I think I will use watercolor in pre-mixed watercolor,
That's a good
so then
idea.
that's just done. Because they were more interested in what they're doing in the paint. And but what I really liked is that the shock factor of the wow of like, look at this, their name was just revealed. If for you who don't know, it was written on white paper in pastel colors, so when they use watercolor, the name pops up, and they had to like match or find their name on a label. And it was good because prior to that, in the morning, every morning we do a name recognition activity, but there still is a lot of gaps in that, and this was a nice way to bridge that gap with an activity.
I thought that many of the children could recognize their names, and yeah, I was impressed that they were able to do that because working at the level above them, that's a really useful skill for them to be able to know.
Yes, and some of them were even taking it further. Like my higher level group were able to say out loud the phonic, the sound of their first letter, the initial letter, and the lower group, with help of like their picture cards, they could match the letters of their name. Yeah.
Yeah, it seemed like the children know what is expected of them during center time, and there was a good flow. And something that I really liked was the song that you sang when in the beginning of the lesson for everyone to come on the carpet.
Oh, yes. Well, I think we have to sing everything you want.
Absolutely.
It is such a song and dance.
For sure.
Yes. There were some things that I thought that I could, like, for me personally, I didn't find that they worked so well. Was me as the teacher personally, I felt like I needed to be in all the different centers at the same time. So, um, like in the pincer group center, I was like kind of focusing on that a little bit, just making sure that it was running the way I wanted to. And what I didn't have a chance to do in this before this lesson was, brief my co-teachers with with the language that I want them to use, and so that was something that was pulling my attention, and I don't think that's fair on the kids if the teacher is not completely present in there. So what I will do in future when I'm doing my lessons is make sure that the other centers are completely like they can do it by themselves.
Independent.
Yeah, yeah. What do you think of that?
Yeah, or you could even before every morning you could give a rundown to your co-teachers, and be like explicit in, language that you want the children to learn.
Yeah.
Because they're all capable, right?
Absolutely.
So I think if you tell them specific language or learning points, I think they would love to partake in that.
Yes, I think so as well, because what I also missed out was the discussion questions, but I did hear my co-teacher asking similar questions
Yeah.
to the group that was doing the writing in shading. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it just comes naturally to them as educators, I
Mm-hmm.
think. Yes, but I did notice that this was the part where I only realized afterwards, because it just happens so fast sometimes.
Yeah.
That I will like also pay some attention to that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the centers ran really smoothly, and it's always good to see when you go into a classroom that the children are happy and having fun.
Yes. There were some kids that were so excited that they couldn't sit down.
That's okay.
Yeah.
they're 2 and 3.
Yes. So that was something.
That's developmentally appropriate for sure.
But what would be your suggestions for me moving forward in like a lesson like this?
I'm always
Okay. Let's go.
I always love working when working with little ones to see a lot of like independent practice and small group activity, because something I noticed at the end of the lesson was that the kids had a hard time playing the final game, because I think their ability to sustain attention was they were running out of stamina, and I think part of that is because they did quite a good job listening at the beginning of the lesson. They were able to sit and focus and sing along, and then when you did your closing activity, some of the children seemed a little distracted, which is developmentally appropriate for them, because we can expect 2 and 3 year olds to sustain attention for longer than 5 minutes, and even if it's a little shorter than that, that is still developmentally appropriate. So how can we maybe do that activity but in a more developmentally appropriate like time frame?
Yeah. What do you suggest, like, with that type of activity, where could I incorporate it?
I think you could incorporate it as a small group activity, so maybe the children aren't as distracted by what is going around.
Okay, so I could like use I could swap out one of the centers that I did in this lesson and put that as a center. Because that, for me, in my lesson plan, that was my assessment.
Right.
And it will still count as my...
Of course, you can give an assessment anytime, anywhere.
Okay.
Even when the kids are on the playground, right? We're always assessing their developmentally and their social development and their emotion development. We can assess them at any time. Something that we can look forward to in the next coming lessons is thinking about the different needs of your students, and how can you meet the abilities of the various ranges of all of your learners?
Yes, because I do have a class full of ELL learners, but they are on different levels of their ELL, like language acquisition. But I don't know if you did notice the one student who was a bit of a runner.
Yeah,
he's gonna be my case study.
Okay.
And I'm definitely gonna put a lot of effort into like making sure he gets exactly what he needs from those lessons, because I did have to I forgot about him.
That happens sometimes.
Did you see that? Like he went to the restroom and I totally forgot.
Yeah.
And only in the later on in the lesson I realized that he was just not there. And he went through all the stations by himself, and then I had to call him back. And so I want to make sure that either I get him in the beginning, or make sure that he, when he is like most attentive, I use that time for the most important activity.
Yeah. How is he with? I noticed he was a child who needs like a lot of He likes to move.
Mm-hmm.
How does he do with like gross motor activities?
He's really good in anything hands-on, tactile,
Okay.
and I noticed that his schema is transportation, rotation,
Rotating.
and what is the toppling?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
watching things fall.
Yeah. So he plays in the kitchen with absolutely no purpose. He just puts things up, and so I know that. And now in like moving forward, and I want to see how I can incorporate his schema into
His learning.
into his learning.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Thank you so much. It was a
Thank-
great debrief.
Yes, it was such a fun lesson to watch, and it was great that I got to watch it in person.
Yes. See you in the next lesson.
Yes. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.